Hey, it's me. It's the Into the Sea. That's right, your host with the most, Nicholas Cross, right here at rockinwrestling.com on Rockin' Wrestling Radio, live and finally back home in sunny Chicago, Illinois. Well, what brings us together this Tuesday morning? What could you say other than WWE Raw? And we had a good time last night watching along as the Extreme Rules pay-per-view on Sunday night just ebbed right on over into Monday night, and a great show was put on, if I must say so. And when I say a great show, I mean a great show. If you think about the show, you can't help but to think about the way that the show kicked off and really set the standard for the evening. And I'm pretty excited about the whole direction that WWE is going. Once again, and I've been preaching this and stating this and contemplating this for the past 278,000 days, I feel like WWE is headed back to the Attitude Era, at least in its genre of wrestling. Look at how Raw starts off. It starts off with a 20-man battle royal for the United States Championship. Of course, Triple H had tweeted earlier Monday afternoon that he was going to do this, obviously to punish the Shield, to punish Dean Ambrose, and it seemed to have worked out. The Battle Royal was pretty good. There was a lot of cool little spots, a lot of neat little areas where the crowd really got amped up. The Big Show had a good show. Sheamus had a good show, and of course Sheamus went on to win the United States title. I feel as though it's just an appeasation, if it's even a word, for Sheamus at this point because there's really no place for him. But I'm interested to see, since Dean Ambrose lost the United States title, where that's going to leave Shield. I believe, in my opinion, and I'm just going to share this briefly, I think that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, are going to go after the WWE Tag Team titles at some point, and I think that that's going to leave Roman Reigns for whatever singles title is involved. Now, if you'll remember at Extreme Rules on Sunday night, Rob Van Dam squared off with Cesaro and Jack Swagger. Well, on Monday night, it was kind of a revisit, but except it was just RVD and Cesaro. The match was pretty cool. There was a bunch of uppercuts and big slams, and RVD fired back, and everything seemed real good. But I feel as though that we really saw the opening up of a new type of Cesaro. The Swiss Superman really came out with this new heel personification. Remember Sunday night I told you guys to be looking for something new with Cesaro. Well, it seems that we saw our mean streak, and maybe that's a little bit of because he's a Paul Heyman guy nowadays, but it's an exciting nuance in the whole crevasse, if you will, of Cesaro. Don't call him Antonio Cesaro anymore. So good things are going on right there with Cesaro. I'm really glad that he's working with RVD. It's good to see the older guys with the younger guys, putting them over and putting them in a place where they can really step up their game. And of course, if you guys remember, there were segments all through the night last night during Raw where Stephanie McMahon, the heavy-handed hitter, was knocking on the door and knocking on windows and scaring everyone to death. And of course, she seemed to be sympathetic of the dangers that Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella faced with the unleashed devil's favorite demon, Kane. That's right, the storyline continues. Even though Daniel Bryan defeated him at Extreme Rules, it appears as though WWE is going to continue the mashup between he and Kane, and I'm pretty excited to see what's going to come out of this. By the way, I'm excited to see this new Kane. I wasn't very, very pleased with the thought of taking Kane away from the mask and then putting him right back in the mask. In fact, I thought it was just a big hoax. But after Extreme Rules, and after what we'll get into in just a little bit, I was kind of happy to see this new Kane and the movement and the way that he's going, and I'm really happy. Let's see what kind of explosions are going to take place in the future with this new personification of the old Kane, if that makes sense. The next match we went into was Cody Rhodes versus Ryback, and the entire purchase of this match is just simply to get the crowd in the idea that something's going to happen between Cody and Goldust. Cody Rhodes ended up losing to Ryback, the shell shock, but it was because Curtis Axel actually rammed Goldust into the corner while Cody was perched on the top, maybe for another who-knows-what type of move on Ryback, another disaster kick or something crazy. But regardless of what you may think or what you may see, I want you guys to know this is leading to the demise of the Dusty Rhodes Boys reunion. And I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know why they're going to try to put over Cody again. I think that we've attempted this before. I think this time let's put over Goldust. Let's give him another shot and maybe even give him a run at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I know that sounds far-fetched, but the guy's really bringing it these days, and I feel as though maybe it's time to see something in that genre. And, of course, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, so we couldn't go without the all-wonderful Los Matadores with El Torito, and you know, in this segment, it's so cheesy, isn't it? And it's cheesy in that cool way. They're out there throwing candy, and out comes 3MB with Jinder Mahal, McIntyre, and the rest of the guys. And, of course, there was another butt-kicking and so on and blah, 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 blah. Los Matadores walks out of the ring with El Torito, and, of course, Hornswoggle is left laying in a pool of candy, it appears. So, pretty crazy stuff going on there. If you're not watching these segments, you guys really need to pay attention to these things because, actually, in the long run, they build the storylines, and they paint a pretty good picture for you about what's going to happen in the future. Speaking of segments, right after that was a cool little segue promoting, guess who? Bo Dallas. I don't know if you guys have been following NXT. I don't know if you guys followed the Indies. I don't know if you guys know this. This is the son of Mike Rotundo, formerly in WWE as IRS. Now, this guy, there's another one of his kids. We're not going to get into who that is. But this guy is actually a phenomenal wrestler. He was a former NXT World Champ or NXT Champion. And I feel as though they're getting ready to bring him. Of course, they are bringing him into the WWE perspective. But I really think that this guy's going to be a landmark player. I think we can see him right there with Bray Wyatt, if you guys know the connection. Also with Daniel Bryan and all the other young guys that are coming along, Cesaro and Rusev and whoever. Speaking of Rusev, or should I say Lana, I don't really care about Alexander Rusev at this point. I care about that blue miniskirt and the blue blazer that this supremely gorgeous woman is wearing when she comes out with that Russian accent and she tells us about how good Vladimir Putin is. Well, if you can get past Lana and the blonde bombshell that she is, my Lord in heaven, sweet Jesus, she's amazing. You find yourself with Alexander Rusev versus Kofi Kingston. I don't know what's going on here. I think that Kofi Kingston should be somewhere other than what he's doing. I think that the cat is amazing. He has amazing ability. I'm just not sure if it's maybe that he can't get over as well as WWE would like, or if WWE don't want him to get over as well as they would like. But I think that you could see some amazing stuff out of Kofi yet. But Alexander Rusev was there, and of course, if you know anything about the Bulgarian Brute or whatever he is, you know that this guy is just a monster, and he crushed Kofi Kingston. Of course, Kofi got in a lot of good offense, looked real shiny and sparkly, but at the end of the day, Alexander Rusev put on that accolade and nearly broke him in half, if I can say that. We, of course, dealing some more with Brie and Daniel Bryan and Stephanie McMahon. There's a great story here, and I really like how Stephanie's stepping into the role of her father, playing this innocent demon, if you will. She seems to be so caring, but yet everybody knows that she's not at all caring. And then, of course, Stephanie, the segue was that Stephanie was informing Daniel that he couldn't leave the auditorium because he had a match, and if he did leave, then he would have to forfeit the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Doesn't it feel like Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin all over again? Add Brie Bella, and it's pretty cool. Well, so Daniel, of course, not going to forfeit the thing. He comes out, and guess who he's wrestling? He's wrestling one of my favorites, Alberto Del Rio. And I think Alberto deserves more than what he's getting. The guy's a phenomenal athlete. He's a workhorse. He's one of their top heels, and he should be used in that context. Of course, I don't know what direction WWE's going. Alberto's not that old of a guy. He hasn't really been there that long of a time. So I think that we should still be in the area of working with Alberto and getting him where he needs to be. Of course, he and Daniel Bryan wrestled a great match. While everyone was screaming, yes, 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 they were forgetting that one of the greatest wrestlers in the in WWE rather is right there. And of course, Kane's fireworks go off right at the end. That leads Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella back to the car, and oddly enough, there's a cord pulled loose underneath the hood, and Daniel Bryan did a good job of fake acting, trying to plug that cord back in underneath the hood of that beautiful silver Chrysler 300. And, of course, when the hood closes, Kane sitting in the back seat. Brie Bella does a wonderful job of fake screaming, and And we go into a good WWE Attitude segment. I want you guys to pay attention. Remember, way back in the day, there used to be all this parking lot stuff. People were getting ran over. People were getting thrown off the top of cars. People were being slammed through windshields. Well, here we are again. There's some more parking lot action, just like last night, or the night before, rather, at Extreme Rules. Well, here we are, and they're in the parking lot, and there's a car. Well, here comes Daniel Bryan and Kane beating the snot out of each other all over this Chrysler 300. Kane ends up on the hood of the car, on the roof of the car, sticking his hand through, trying to grab Brie, trying to grab Daniel Bryan, and of course, who wouldn't be trying to grab Brie? And Daniel Bryan speeds off in the car. Kane goes flopping off. The car stops, and something that I think is pretty cool is how they're really putting Kane over right now. The car stops. Kane's should be splattered all over the pavement. And Daniel Bryan gets out to watch Kane. You have the impression that Daniel Bryan is feeling sorrow for what he's done, and all of a sudden Kane sits right up. As crazy as it may seem, it's really doing a good job in making Kane look like that invincible monster, the devil's favorite demon, the big red machine. And we feel like that Kane is really earning his place in stardom right now. This is a good thing for Kane. Like I said at first, I was really complaining about it and I was down on it. But right now, I'm seeing what's happening. I'm watching the story, and they're telling it real well. I think it's a good thing. I like what's going on here. Of course, speaking of liking what's going on here, who can't like Adam Rose? And isn't it the coolest thing to see these segues leading to Adam Rose? We'll get into that in just a moment. After the segue came, we had the Intercontinental Championship rematch between Bad News Barrett and Big E Langston. Of course, I think that Langston needs to turn heel. I think that he needs to be hated because he has the body size and the strength. I think he's a monster that needs to be chasing or being chased for whatever title it is. And for whatever reason, Bad News Barrett getting this great reaction and reception from the WWE Universe. I'm really interested in how these things are coming about, but the good guys are being booed and the bad guys are being cheered. It's like we're lauding Caesar when Caesar was really not all that great of a guy. So it's a pretty cool thing that's happening here. And it's kind of like we submitted Bad News Barrett. He defeated Big E again with a pinfall. So all else is good and all else is well. Do you guys remember the Hall of Fame induction ceremony at WrestleMania 30? You remember Mr. T, I love my mama this day, I love my mama that day, I love my mama this day. We'll get some sound, I love my mama, I love my mama, I love my mama. Well, let me tell you, I think that it's pretty cool. They did a little Mother's Day rendition, and of course Mr. T was there doing his thing, and it was pretty cool. And at the end of the day, everybody got a good laugh out of the Mr. T segue. Well, everybody stopped laughing when Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter came out with their deportation list. And, there is nothing on earth that gets over more than Zeb Coulter threatening to deport the crowd. Let's see, the names that he brought up was Cesaro, Heyman, Emma, Santino, I guess Sheamus, Page, probably some more that I missed in there, and everybody hates Zeb Coulter for this. I mean, it's hilarious. It's a great segment, and it becomes even funnier, of course, when Adam Rose comes to the ring with this entire group of party animals, and that's what I love. You look at Adam Rose as he's on his way to the ring, and you see all of these things. You got a bunny rabbit. I think I saw Uncle Sam in there. You got a guy wearing an afro wig, and all of this junk, and of course. And of course, Adam Rose grabs Zeb Coulter by the mustache and says, "Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud." And the party begins, and it is so exciting. Adam Rose threw Jack Swagger over the ropes, and of course the boogie train danced around Zeb Coulter, and the party was just phenomenal. Well, that party would come to an end when the real talk, Raw as War, would begin, and two of my favorite things were involved, of course. That's the Shield and the Wyatts. And when you talk about the Shield and the Wyatts, you're talking about the future of WWE. I can't speak for Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. I think that Luke Harper is actually a very, very good wrestler. I think that the tale of the tape would show that too. I can't talk too much about Eric Rowan. I don't really know how good he is or good he isn't. I can tell you that Bray Wyatt, however, is phenomenal. Unorthodox, paradoxical, eccentric, but phenomenal. I can also tell you that Roman Reigns is phenomenal. I can tell you that Seth Rollins is phenomenal. I can tell you that Dean Ambrose is phenomenal. And I can tell you that when you put these 6 guys in a match, it brings you to a place of awesome. And, of course, as you can almost imagine, the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." That was until Evolution came out and laid waste to Shield. And, you know, I'm coming to the close of this segment, but I've got to say this. I am really excited about seeing this feud with Evolution and the Shield continue. Doesn't it feel like something from way back when the Horsemen were feuding with Sting, with Luger, with Nikita, with these groups? Doesn't it feel like something way back when the NWO was feuding with the traditionalists of WCW? I guess it's just really exciting to see this. It's also really exciting to see that Triple H has got a vision, and I feel as though it's to take us back a little bit to the Attitude Era, to give us wrestling as it was. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're out of time for the Raw segment of the week. I appreciate you guys stopping by RockinWrestling.com and the Rockin' Wrestling Radio. This is your host with the most, Nicholas Cross, live in Chicago, Illinois. We will check you out next time.